Hello guys, today I have with me on my channel a Japanese player who is playing Ice Bowl, so I'll share with you some of the replays and how he approaches some of these matchups. But a little background story, I actually met him through this Japanese semi-pro competition called the ICRL. So it was through this player Harold, and then he introduced me to the rest of the team, and I actually had a lot of fun playing with them, and we finished around top 8, so it was quite a good experience overall, alright. So we could see over here actually he shared with me so many replays, alright. So there are a lot of good gameplay. We can see here against Jupiter King as well, Hajime, L. Rodgers. So I have to pick and choose, and I watched through all of them. They're actually really good. So if there is a demand, actually, we could do a part 2 and to show the rest of the replays, alright? Alright guys, so one of the first replays that I'll be sharing with you is against this Goblin Giant Sparky Earthquake deck. So let's see how he approaches this matchup. Okay, so he's not that kind that will expo first play at the bridge kind of player, so he's more of trying to figure out his opponent's defenses, and then he's trying to take as little damage as he can in single elixir, and then if he knows that his expo can't break through, especially against earthquake decks, then he will try to like get a rocket cycle in double or triple elixir. Right, so he sees the opponent playing mini P.E.K.K.A, so this is where he has to always save his knight or his skeletons for that mini P.E.K.K.A, if not he would be in trouble. So we can see here just cycling, trying to feel what the opponent is playing. So mini P.E.K.K.A and Dark Prince here would highly suggest a beatdown deck, whether is it Golem or Goblin Giant Sparky. So we can see here he tries to protect his Tesla by splitting the skeletons. So that is always important, to protect your Tesla. And then he pretty much just cycling, trying to get... He knows that he cannot expo at this point because the opponent has a ground tank, and then that gives him a free counter push. And also against Sparky decks, he's always saving his rocket for the Sparky, at least in single and double elixir. In triple elixir, if he needs the rocket for tower damage, and then he will use it. But we can see how he handles this push over here. He has to separate the mini P.E.K.K.A from the Goblin Giant, and then you can see that he's okay taking a little damage, and he has elixir, but he doesn't play everything instantaneously, so he waits a little and then he decides to lock that. Alright, again, still waiting till double, he's just trying to cycle. So he's always going into the same lane as the opponent's Dark Prince here. Again, I believe he will set up his Tesla for defense. Alright, so the opponent decides to Earthquake. So the opponent actually plays quite well. He goes with the aggressive, offensive Earthquake because he knows that he can actually defend the Expo, because he has Goblin Giant in hand. So as we can see earlier, he always saves his rocket for the Expo. And that's basically how he's playing until at least triple elixir. So also the other key to note is, like, if you know your Expo cannot break through, do not be stubborn and keep playing Expo, because that gives him a free counter push into that lane. So try to get a rocket cycle in double or triple elixir if possible. Okay, so again, basically we see him just cycling and defending. The opponent's going for the offensive Earthquakes, not on the Expo, because he knows he can defend the Expo with the Goblin Giant. So we can see he decides to Expo now because the opponent doesn't have his Goblin Giant at the moment, because he just played the Sparky. So he might not have enough, but fortunately the Sparky tanks a little, and then he can get his Goblin Giant down in time. So we can see over here the Expo actually dies, and then this gives the free counter push. So this is something that he would try to avoid towards the end of the game. So the opponent is getting a lot of Earthquake damage in, so he has to be careful also not to let the Musketeer lock on. So basically he has been defending for 3 minutes already. So he knows most probably his Expo wouldn't get the lock. So how does he approach this matchup, and how does he get the win at the end? But based on, like, just by me looking at this replay, I didn't expect him to win, because he's just defending the entire game. So look at it, the way he separates his skeletons and the Tesla, that is also key, because if you put everything near the Tesla, the opponent can just zap or Earthquake and everything will die. So he spaces them out so that the opponent cannot get value. So at this point he uses his knight, so the opponent decides to go with this push over here, which is quite smart. Again, he does his best to defend everything. Alright, so we can see the Sparky coming in. This time he decides to go again with the Expo, but the Goblin Giant is again there. Even if the Goblin Giant is not there, the Sparky can defend a little. So at this point he just uses a perfect surround on the Sparky. Because it's a minute left, he knows that he cannot afford to rocket the Sparky anymore, because it's down in so much in tower damage, right? And the opponent can just Earthquake him. So he has to go for a rocket cycle somehow at the end, but he cannot be impatient. So if he does rocket at that point with no defenses on the ground, most probably he would lose his tower. So he decides to set up a Tesla first before, like, have some ground troops on board before you rocket. So that is very important. So you can see at this point, even though there is a Sparky coming towards him, he decides to rocket. Because the opponent doesn't have Goblin Giant and Cyclo, so he's confident that he can actually defend that Sparky. Because even if he doesn't rocket the tower, he'll most probably lose anyway, so that's something that he has to gamble. The Knight can take one Sparky shot, so that's actually a very good defense. So again, he tries Mini P.E.K.K.A in the other lane. He's not too worried. He cycles back to his Knight. So again, almost picture perfect defense here. He has Elixir in hand. He doesn't use it immediately, so he's not rushing like most of us. So he knows he needs lock value, he needs rocket value as much as he can, and then at this point, basically he already won because of the last rocket. So that's really well played by him. Okay, so we'll hop into the next game and we'll see you guys later. Alright, so the next replay that I'll be sharing with you guys would be his replay against a minor cycle deck against Jupiter King. So Jupiter King is in Tribe right now and is another top player. So let's hop into this game and see how he approaches such a matchup. Right, so against minor cycle, I guess he would play it a little differently, so let's see. So opponent decides Wallbreaker split at the bridge, so NATO defends it well, but that's a -1 elixir trade for him. Alright, so most probably he already knows the matchup he's playing against, because this Wallbreaker deck is quite popular at top ladder now. Okay, so he sees that he plays an MA at the back, and because he has no Wallbreakers, he's perfectly fine doing that because he knows he cannot be punished at this point. Even if the opponent decides like a Valk minor kind of thing, he can defend it with Knight or Tesla. So he's confident that he cannot be punished at that point, and that's why he decides to go with the rocket. So we basically see him just cycling. The opponent is just cycling into him as well. So the opponent already knows he's playing Ice Bow, so let's see again. He's gonna take his poison value over here. So we'll see whether he decides to go with rocket or whether he decides to try to break through with his X-Bow. So he decides to go X-Bow at the bridge because Valkyrie is not in cycle. So he knows like the opponent would have a player bomb, so he puts the Tesla there in case the opponent plays his bomb tower. So that's a good NATO to take care of the MA, and then we see Jupiter King putting down a Valk to prevent the lock-on. I guess he still has to... Okay, so he just plays his Wallbreakers to try to minimize the X-Bow damage, and the Valk takes care of the rest. Alright, so basically they already know each other's deck, so let's see how he approaches it to try to break through, because it's not going to be easy for him to break through with the X-Bow, because Jupiter King can just Valk or Poison or go for like a minor Poison defense and try to go same lane as him. Alright, so let's see if he goes same lane or opposite lane. So he's going into the lane which he does more damage. He doesn't want to give Poison value over there. So it's a little late with the Knight, I would say, but he goes with the offensive X-Bow now because he has an Ice Whiz over there. And let's see how Jupiter King tries to defend this. So again he puts the MA, and he goes with the, this time he predicts the Tesla, and then he has a Valkyrie to block, and then he has to extra spend on the Poison too. Wallbreaker's a little late, so he gets quite a decent lock on, and the minor, I guess that's an extra minor there, which was not needed. Okay, so now he knows that he's up in Elixir, decides to go again with the X-Bow. So we see Jupiter King playing those bomb towers in the back because he knows that the opponent can block with a Knight or a Tesla at the front. Okay, so he puts the MA there. We can see over here a beautiful tornado to take it away from the X-Bow. So the opponent has to again play his minor there to defend the X-Bow. So we can see a lot of good NATO plays from him. Okay, this time he decides to set up with a defensive bow. Okay, so Jupiter King decides to pressure now. So this Tesla was actually good because he managed to distract the Wallbreakers first. Because the Wallbreakers would be the one doing the most damage. So he distracts the Wallbreakers first, and with X-Bow on board, he's confident that he can go for the rocket at the moment. So like I said earlier in the previous replay, if you have nothing on board, or you don't have a nice elixir lead, do not just go for the naked rocket. So with a little bit of... yeah, he decides to go there. Okay, so this is actually important over here also. So let's say your opponent does an X-Bow Tesla at the bridge. you want to defend with a similar amount of elixir. So let's say you just put the bomb tower, that's only 4 elixir to the defend 10 elixir. So that's definitely not going to work out. So we can see that he actually invests in the extra Valkyrie. So it's a similar amount of defense over there, and that's why he can take out the Expo. So do not like just play 4 elixir to defend 10, it's not gonna work. So over here he decides to NATO and predict the MA with the knight there. So that's good defense. He's having a really nice lead at the moment. So let's see if he decides to go for an Expo lock. Okay, he's gonna go for a defensive Expo here. So that's basically what he's trying to do, I believe, because that's 2 rockets away and just a couple of locks. So he's doing a great job with the defense. He doesn't NATO here because the Expo and Tesla are already locked on. And we can see he can take damage on the right, so that's not a big problem. He decides to block the MA too. Okay, so it's just 1 rocket away now. So that's another beautiful block with the Tesla, because he knows that the opponent, that's the only way he's gonna win. Alright, so we can see that the rocket cycle comes in at the end with the defensive Expo. Okay, so that is how you would want to approach such a matchup against the minor cycle with wall breakers. Alright, so the last game that I'll be sharing with you guys in today's video would be this game against Rodris, who is playing Lava Hound. So let's see how he approaches such a matchup. Okay, so against Lava Hound, you usually want to go same lane as the Lava Hound. You do not want to go opposite lane because you cannot afford to trade towers. Against any matchups, you can't afford to trade towers. So that's something that he showed me in all his replays. It's always a 1 tower game. You cannot trade. Okay, so the opponent sends a miner. So if you're playing against Rodris, you most probably already know he's playing Lava Hound. So there's something different that he does over here. He puts his Tesla a little higher against Lava Hounds. Against ground troops or ground tanks, he'll place it a little lower. But against Lava Hounds, he's perfectly fine playing it high over here. And we can see he gets a good NATO and Skellies for distraction. So he gets a nice lock on over here. But because of this, because he just played his Expo, so Rodris actually knows that he can safely lava in the back right now, which is what he does over here. So he's down in Elixir, and let's see how he approaches this defense. So he will most probably take a lot of damage, but as long as you don't lose your tower, that is fine. So even if you have to over defend, you cannot afford to trade towers over here. So he cycles his Ice Wiz in the back. Most probably he'll need a Tesla somewhere in the middle to distract his supporting troops, I would believe, or... Okay, so he decides to go Tesla at the start now against this, and then seeing that Rodris decides to put the Baby D on the Tesla, which is great, and then the Fireball knocks the Knight away, and that miner hits the Ice Wizard. So over here he's forced to use a NATO and Skellies, and I believe the Ice Wizard as well, so he has to over defend. He cannot afford to take too much damage, because the Baby D is on quite a lot of HP too, so he can't afford to take that kind of damage. And over here, let's say he does more damage on the right side, but he still has to go Expo on the left, because like I said earlier, you cannot trade with any deck. So we can see over here, he's gonna Expo into the healthier lane. Okay, at the same time, Rodris plays a Lava in the back, so that was unfortunate for him. He decides to go Inferno to try to minimize the damage, but that's a good NATO over here. So he's forced to do a miner, Barb Arrow and a Zap to retarget the Expo to take it out. Alright, so it's a big... The Lava Hound is still quite healthy, so let's see how he approaches this defense. He places the Tesla high this time to take out the Baby D first. Good Fireball to get both, but the Baby D does not die, so he has to do a NATO here to kill it. Miner to the back, a great catch by the Knight. Some Skellies for distraction, draws away 2 Lava Pops, and that is huge. So again, good defense there. So the Lava Hound is actually not too much damage, so the Tesla you would always want to try to take out his supporting troops first. So Rodris tries to predict the Lava Hound, but he's patient over here, so therefore this is going to be a very good offense here. So let's see, the Knight protects, Skellies protect, Zap to retarget, but that's not going to be enough. The Expo is going to get a nice lock, and that's most probably it because he still has Rocket. So he decides to Fireball, but that's too late. So again, this is how you should want to approach the Lava Hound matchup, right? Alright, so thank you so much again guys for tuning into this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you guys want to see the rest of the replays, let me know. If we get a substantial amount of comments or likes to say that you guys want to see the rest of the replays, I'll do a second video for this, and then we'll just put in the rest. Alright, so peace, stay safe, and cheers.